Live here in Tel Aviv is Israeli opposition leader Yair Lapid. Mr. Lapid, thank you so much for joining us here.
Thank you for having me.
On the program, I just want to take you firstly back to that horrific day 2 years ago on October the 7th. You were obviously here and you immediately went and saw the Prime Minister. Just tell me how you felt in that moment as you were getting the news coming in.
Well, I woke up at 6:30 like everybody else from sirens and bombings, and my first thought was my daughter. My daughter was with us. She's an autistic young woman. And it was very hard to explain to her why is it that somebody wants to kill her and get her into the shelter. Security was, of course, not panicking but worried. And then I spoke with the Prime Minister. We've met around 4:30, and I told him at the time, I said, this is going to be long and terrible, and you need to get rid of the lunatics within your government, and we have to form a unity government. Unfortunately, he declined to do so, and I said to him, are we going to be supportive? And throughout the day, I was getting phone calls. I remember a Knesset member from my party, she called me, she lives in Sderot, behind the police station that was burned to the ground, and she was whispering. She said, there are terrorists outside my house, there are terrorists outside the house, I don't know what's going to happen, I don't know if I won't survive this, tell everybody I love them. So you get these kind of calls. I was glad, sort of, I don't know if it's the right word, to hear you reminding everybody that this is a war that was forced upon us. This is not something we wanted. This is something that, you know, in this meeting with the Prime Minister, I was the first person to say what later became a cliche, that this is the worst day for the Jewish people since the Holocaust. And it is still going on because the hostages are not back.
You say in that moment, you told Benjamin Netanyahu, you need to get rid of these members of the far right who are part of your coalition government. In hindsight, do you think that things would have been fundamentally different in terms of how this war has been prosecuted over the course of the last 2 years?
Yeah, I don't want to go into details in this square, in this time, in this day of the year, but yes, of course, we could have, I believe that we could have done what is happening now in Egypt. A year ago or so, maybe in even better terms. But, you know, you never know. What we need to do is stop the war, bring back the hostages. These are the two most important things. It's the healing process of Israel will not start before the hostages are back.
Are you speaking directly to the White House about this 20-point peace plan?
Yes, I'm speaking to the president's team, telling them that they need to know that Prime Minister Netanyahu has a security net from the opposition in order to do the deal, and there's no political obstacles whatsoever in doing this deal, and therefore it has to happen. These are people I've known for years, and they know I'm trustworthy on this one.
Are you optimistic that, because we're hearing a lot that both the Hamas side and Benjamin Netanyahu have said yes, but, and Donald Trump is only hearing the yes at this moment?
Well, I think his method of pushing everybody to the result, which is great, and I think President Trump understands that the most optimistic person in the process is also the most powerful one, and therefore it's the right method of approaching this, and I'm as supportive as you can to this the way he engages himself into this. We needed that.
We're still in the middle of this, and nothing has been finalized. The teams remain in Egypt to hash out, and at any point this could break down. If that happens, where will this leave this society, Palestinian society, the future of this region?
If it will succeed?
If it doesn't succeed?
If it doesn't succeed, then we are in the same horrible spot that we are now, which is a war that is going nowhere, hostages that are slowly dying, and of course the suffering in Gaza that everybody in his right mind cares about. I mean, one of the things I don't understand about our government is why is it that they don't saying, you know, we are sorry for every child who lost his life, their children should not die in grown-ups wars. So for everybody's sake, we pray for this to end.
And like I said, we're still in the middle of it, but if we think about, Israel holding certain people accountable for the failings of October 7, Benjamin Netanyahu and others, do you think that time will come?
I think after the hostages are back and the war is over, we will have to really look into what happened. Just wallowing into self-pity is not enough. I am optimistic about my country, about the future of my country. I think Israel is not a failed state. Israel is a strong, successful, smart state with a failed government, which is, there are other countries in the region. Lebanon is a good example, I assume, maybe Syria, in which you feel that fundamentals are rotten in ways. Here, the fundamentals are great, just the government is problematic. So this you can replace in one day and start pushing the new vision of New Israel, and this is what we want to do.
But we also know that Benjamin Netanyahu is a survivor, and he has fought for his own political survival, frankly, since October 7.
Yes, and with a dear cost. But, we are, as people, we have this ability of rising from all sorts of ashes. I'm the son of a Holocaust survivor, and I've seen what happened to my people in the last 62 years in which I've been around. And we can do so much better than we're doing now, so we're gonna.
You've created a change bloc with some other members. One of them being Naftali Bennett, former Prime Minister, who has described himself to the right of Benjamin Netanyahu. Do you think that's going to be problematic?
No, because this is not about left and right anymore. This is about what kind of country are we going? Are we going to be a third world failing state, or are we going to be the country of the future that we can be? Are we going to be the startup nation, or are we going to be another Middle Eastern failing state? So it's not about this. It's about healing and rebuilding and rejoicing, and finding a new formula for the country. And we can do this. I sat with Naftali yesterday discussing exactly this.
What did you talk to him about? What is the vision going forward?
We talked about our children, because his son is in the army, and my children were discussing this with me, and we owe them more than they're getting now from their own country. And of course we've talked about politics as well, but this is the how of a bigger matter, and the bigger matter is changing the course of this country.
Does that include Palestinians?
Well, the burden of proof has moved from us to them. It's not only that they killed us the way they did on October 7th. It's also in Ramallah, in the West Bank, not in Gaza. They were giving each other candies and celebrating the mass murdering in the Israeli South. So now they have to prove to us that they have the ability to reinvent themselves, not as another failing terror state that will be on our border 20 minutes from where I'm working in Jerusalem. But people who are peace-seeking and peace-loving as we are.
Are you worried, though, about the future of Gaza, the future of the West Bank? We've seen up to 17,000 children or more die in this conflict. Thousands have become orphans as a result of Israeli onslaught and bombardment of their homes and the entire strip.
If I may correct you, Yalda, not the 70,000, which is an unproven number, is for all the casualties, which includes Hamas warriors. 67,000. Yes, includes Hamas warriors.
I said 17,000, yeah.
There is no, since you've brought it up, there is no genocide in Gaza. If there was a genocide in Gaza, then how come they're not rejoicing over Trump's proposition of stopping the war? It's a war, they're losing, and they're campaigning on the fact that they're losing. Again, I am sorry for the loss of any innocent lives, But we have to make sure people understand what is it that they're seeing and what kind of campaign is it that people are using their own children and as human shields. Having said that, yes, I'm worried about the neighborhood and about the people around us and where is this going, because it influences directly the future of my country and my people. And peace is just better for everybody. And this is what we wanted. Again, we were attacked. This is not a war we wanted or asked for.
But there has been a lot of questions internationally about how Israel has prosecuted this war. Mm-hmm. You say this is not a genocide, and I know the bulk of Israeli society believes it's not a genocide. However, there have been Israeli scholars, genocide specialists in this country who have said that the way that this war was prosecuted, the language coming out of the far right, the sort of things that were said was unacceptable.
Well, here's the thing. As you said in the beginning, I'm from the opposition. It's not my job to protect the government. And the things that the far-right ministers have said throughout the last 2 years has contributed quite a bit to this myth that is untrue, that this is a genocide. It is not. The Israeli Defense Forces are not committing genocide. They are engaged in a terrible war within the most dense populated area in the world. And the results are sometimes horrible, but again, this is a war we didn't ask for, and they're losing this war, and therefore what they're doing is campaigning in the Western world using human rights lingo they do not believe in, just as a tool. This war should stop. The hostages must come back. We have to, I think, again, the proposition is the right proposition, but this is not genocide. This is just a poisonous myth.
Mr. Lapid, we talked there about this coalition you've created with Naftali Bennett. In the polls, it's still Benjamin Netanyahu, Naftali Bennett, who are in the lead. What you're saying about unity and peace in this region, do you believe that the bulk of Israeli society believes that?
Yes, in every poll. In the last polls, it was 70%, around 70% of people were saying, do the hostage deal, stop the war. And these are the people who are also saying, we want a different Israel. We want this to stop. We want to create a new path for our people. So yes, I believe, again, this is not about right and left. This is not about nationalism. This is about the huge craving for a new start for the people of Israel.
And just finally, do you believe this is the moment? There is enough pressure coming from the Americans to make this happen, this deal finally to be reached?
You know, it's weird. I'm not a praying man, but I have been praying in the last few days exactly for this.
Mr. Lapid, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you.